Alright, so I usually don't do quick play VODs because I think it's a bit silly. Quick play doesn't play almost at all like comp games do. There's a lot more fighting, a lot more staggering. The game times aren't the same, the time bank isn't the same. People don't take it as seriously, the picks are different, so it's hard to look at quick play objectively and just say like this is game mode that you can analyze and get anything from really. Most people are just dicking around doing whatever. But I'll just try to talk about like mechanic things then, and not talk so much about like team-wide decisions and stuff. I feel like your team doesn't have a main tank, so it's hard to talk about what you should be doing. See, when I'm watching a quick play game, it's hard to discern like what's the correct decision because a lot of people just stagger themselves. So, um, yeah, I'm thinking about this situation. I think sitting on tracks is only good if you're like sitting waiting for the enemy team to engage on you, like they're all dead, or like they're wiped, or they're like just respawning and they're trying to come out. And then you can like sit on speed to get back if everyone's full, or sit on heal if you need to heal your teammates. But I think you should be speeding more definitely to get to spots quicker. Because right here, I think the hog was at a decent amount of HP, and it was just healing him. So you're sitting on heal, and you aren't really healing anything whenever you need to use your speed so you can get to the widow faster to start healing her. And because you can switch your track so quickly, a lot of times you just want to swap so you can like change your speed and make you getting hit harder. Because whenever you're on speed, it's definitely harder to hit you than when you're on heal. Whenever your teammates are bionated, I like to switch to heal, or switch to speed because you can't heal them, and so you're just sitting. You're basically just slower, and you aren't healing anyone because they're bioed. But then you can switch back to heal as soon as the bio wears off. One thing I do is I like to like strafe a lot in between my teammates, and so basically this number right here is really important, and you want to keep as many people in this aura as possible. And there's a little bit of a freedom period similar to Mercy where if you have someone tagged with your beam and they go out of range, you still have a little bit of time that the tether is still there. It's similar to Lucio. If you have people in your aura and you walk out of the aura, they're still going to have the aura buff on them even if they're out of it. But you have to go back and re-tag them with it to keep it like continued because there's a bit of like a freedom period for it. So I like to strafe a lot and AD. So I'm like technically not everyone's in the range of the aura, but I'm like moving the circle around enough that it seems like it's a bigger aura than it actually is. Because I'm just constantly tagging my teammates with it, so. Yeah, just be swapping to speed a lot more often. Like as Lucio, you can be like really nimble all the time with wall riding, and so in a lot of fights, I'll just be wall riding just because you get the movement speed buff. It makes you harder to hit, and then speed also helps your teammates get away from things. Also, with the new wall riding, you can wall ride to get to places quicker because there's a movement speed buff whenever you just jump off a wall. So if you need to get places quicker, you can just wall ride there. I would be jumping off the walls here to get to the hog if I needed to, and sitting on speed because everyone around you was full health. Oh, I can talk about this, I guess. So Ryan hasn't ulted yet, I don't think. Haven't heard it. And we're 3 minutes and 22 seconds, whatever it is, into this match. He definitely has Shatter if he has not used it. You saw all your teammates stacked on the point. This looks like a wonderful ult for him, so I know this animation, so I know, like, I've played against enough Reinhardts as Lucio, and I played enough Reinhardt as is, so I know the animation. So as soon as you see him drop the shield, there's 3 different animations that Reinhardt can make. I know this is getting really nitpicky, but Lucio plays really well under Reinhardt if you know what you're doing, because you can counter him really heavily. So there's 3 different animations you can do. The one where he raises his hammer behind him and slams it down as his ult. There's one where he brings his hammer like below him and does like the fire strike, or well, it's a weird like swinging motion where he like swings his hammer like up. It starts lower and then goes up. And then there's the third, which is like the hammer that swings to the side. And so like it's hard to like notice in the moment, but once you get used to knowing the animations of a character, you can know when they're gonna ult. So like if you go back to here, and also just knowing like what's a good opportunity for someone else to ult, you will know like how to counter them. So like right here he drops a shield, and you gotta be thinking like, okay, there's a bunch of teammates stacked here, what's a good decision that he's gonna make, and what's a decision that I can make in return? So as soon as you see this, like I would already be reacting to the situation, I'd be booping him away. Sometimes if you boop him away, you can fuck his shatter and it won't hit the people in the back and they can save you. But also, you can sometimes like boop him to the sides and he'll end up like shattering into a wall. But yeah, during this animation right here, definitely right here, you can boop him back. I think you had time to boop him back even though you were shooting. You could have booped him back and it could have at least saved a teammate or something from shatter. But I mean, it's another thing, knowing ults and when other people should be ulting. Because a lot of times as support, you don't need to be focusing on killing people, especially on Lucio, if you aren't playing really aggressively, so you just need to be keeping track of like their ults and like what they're probably going to use. So if Ryan's walking in, there's a bunch of your teammates stacked on the point, a lot of times I'll just pull back and I'll just be like, okay, he's going to shatter, I'm just going to let him shatter my teammates, and then whenever he goes for a charge, I'll try to boop him away so he doesn't charge one of my teammates into the wall and kill them, or I'll just use beat. I'll sit in a safe position, so as soon as he uses shatter, I'm in like a really safe spot so I don't get shattered, and then I can use my beat to save my teammates after. It's a lot to get used to though, like, and it takes a lot of practice, but completely negating ults with defensive ults is what you gotta do on Lucio, Mercy, and Zen. Is anticipating, because anticipating is the majority of using a defensive ult. You need to be in a position where you can cast it, and if you're shattered then you can't use beat. And a lot of times people will focus the defensive supports before they can use their ults if they survive. If you got 2 kills right here, I probably would have speed boosted forward and tried to kill people. We try to punish them, especially whenever they're pushed forward and like you have an advantage, like it's 6v4 since you just killed 2 people. Maybe could have sped forward and gotten another person. That's another thing I think about is what supports are currently in the game, and you think about the strengths of the different supports. I was actually just wiping my eyes, so I didn't see that. Back. Okay, I got a kill. So he shouldn't have Shatter. He hasn't been hitting anything, he's just been holding shield, so you want to be using Beat for usually as a response to someone else already ulting, or you see someone who's like guaranteed going to ult, so like it's a Pharah that's like flying basically ground level into your team and you think she's gonna ult, which usually she is, but and then you also want to use it if you're going aggressively, but you usually only want to use it if you're going aggressive if you're on offense or if your defense is getting rolled and you need help winning the fight with the shield. But right here, I don't think the Rein has Shatter. It's like very low chance that he has Shatter. And Reaper already died, so he can't use his ult. So it's just like a really low chance that any of them are going to use ults, and then no one ended up actually taking much damage, and so the shield wasn't used. So yeah, I think that play could have just been done using Grav and the Whole Hog, and then it would have basically been a wipe for those 3 people. And you didn't really need to use anything else. I don't know if there was anything else used besides those 3 ults, but yeah, it could have been done with 2 ults. But yeah, I was talking about before about supports. Whenever I'm looking at a team comp, I'm thinking about the strengths of all the heroes in the game, but especially with supports. So I'm thinking, whenever their team has Mercy Ana, what are they lacking? They're lacking the speed boost. They're lacking the damage amplification of a Zen Orb. Whenever I'm thinking about Lucio Zen, I'm thinking about, okay, we don't have a lot of healing, but we have a lot of speed boost, and we can do a lot of damage. And so that was the right thinking right there. Like that's what I was talking about before, that Lucio can really mess up Rein. You can boop him like as he's mid animation to shatter, and you can end up just booping him into a wall, and he'll just shatter a wall, and it'll do nothing. Or you can sit in these instances where your whole team is over here. You're actually in a safe spot unless he shatters you solo or just goes for the rest of the team. He's already shattered. He's in a vulnerable spot. You can literally just walk up and boop him, and then he'll miss his charge, or his shatter will get messed up, or you just won't be able to make a play on it. So there was a wall right here, so the boop wasn't that good. You should have probably waited until he walked up, because he was going, most of the time, Rein's charge after they shatter. So you wait for him to get in this position, where there's like a charge up speed, where he's standing still, and then he goes for the charge. That's when you boop him away, and then he might get pushed off the map even. Like you just push him over there, and he can't do anything. Ends up charging into a wall. It's another little thing, but also when Ryan's nanoed, it's another thing on supports. So whenever you nano Ryan, it actually isn't that good anymore unless there's a lot of tanks on the point contesting him, because they can just walk away from him, and if they're walking away at like the same speed, then he can't do anything. He just ends up walking at them, missing all of his hammer swings, and they just walk away. So if your teammates are on top of him, you can usually just speed boost them away, and especially if they don't have Lucio, you just put on speed, and you just speed everyone away. It doesn't matter if they're missing HP if he can't hit them with his hammer, and you just walk away and he can't do anything. He can maybe hit them with a fire strike, but like that's it. Like he's already used his ult, he's already used his charge, he's just has swing. So something Lucio can do in these instances is you can start to climb the wall up on this point, and it's around the point, so it'll keep you contesting, but you can be like contesting and like be wall riding on the walls like around here, and it's like really hard to hit you. Also, once you walk up a little bit, there's 2 little areas up here, like you can stand on this platform. Some of the little like rotating platforms will hit you, but if you stand up here or up here, like on these little edges up here, you end up contesting the point. You can like crouch and like sit up there. and like bounce in and out of cover, and you'll still be contesting. You're not contesting while you're in there, but you will be contesting if you stand like right here and right here. But it's a little bit more difficult right here, but it's really easy to get up here. You just wall ride. Like here, you can just do like a bounce, bounce, and then you'll be up there. And if a team isn't paying attention, you can literally sit up on this ledge, and if you just crouch there and don't shoot at anyone, then they get really confused sometimes. I even confuse people in like top 500 games. They just don't know where the Lucio is. And if you're just quiet sometimes, you can just like really confuse people, because a lot of times people are like panicking, getting on the point, trying to shoot at people, and they aren't really thinking about how the other team might be panicked to try to kill you. I'd be using speed boost a lot more often. You want to use it most of the time whenever you're not on heal and whenever teammates are full. You just want to be like sitting on speed passively, and because you can just switch to heal if they are taking damage. So in this instance, that wasn't a good use of nano, but in this instance, it's been a while since I've used a lot of their ults. Everyone's been kind of just sitting around poking each other, so they probably have ults. In this situation, I see all my teammates, they're kind of like walked up a little bit. I'd probably tell them to walk back, but um, yeah. Did you think you hit the platform? You like hit beat while you're in midair, but this is good. Yeah, you want to be using beat in these kind of situations when they're about to come in and use ults. You could have maybe saved the Roadhog as he's getting pinned. Very minor thing. Like you would have to be casting it like as he's like over here getting pinned, and then it maybe wouldn't have even saved him. Oh yeah, that's actually pretty sick. I don't know. Okay. There's the rotating platforms. That's actually insane. There's rotating platforms, and I think you jumped up and ulted on the next platform that comes around. Yeah, you hit the platform right here. This is actually pretty sick. I've never done this before myself, but you jumped up, and I think you got booped by Ryan a little bit. Then you ended up casting your beat on the platform, so it almost got insta-cast. That was actually pretty cool. But, yeah, this is an okay use of beat. Where's the Ryan? Okay. You have your cursor on him, so I was very confused, but he was on your screen. Or was in your vicinity, but also when someone's nano, you want to try to like boop them away from your team. Yeah, he's on the point right now, but you need to be looking at him because you want to boop him away from your team. It is kind of awkward at this angle, but you do want to try to boop him away from your team. Speed boost and boop him away from your team. Yeah, this is where the instance where I'd just be wall riding, trying to play really safe. You're missing a lot of teammates on the point right now. You really just want to stall the point out and wait for your teammates to come back. See, these are the instances where I'd sit on heal a lot if I'm on the point. Even if people are, yeah, a lot of times whenever there's like chaotic overtime things, that's when you sit on heal most of the time. But a lot of times you're flipping between the tracks to put your teammates in advantageous positions.
the Rhine? Rhine is gone.
That was a good boop. He got tired though. So yeah, there is a little. I think even if you didn't boop him off, that was a really good decision to make because in overtime, or like when the clock's ticking down, everyone is trying to like panic rush to the point. So a lot of times people will make incorrect decisions when they are coming to the point. It's inevitable, but so in this situation, he might be trying to charge, he might be trying to just swing onto the point, but there's like 5-6 seconds left on the point. So he's going to be walking towards the point no matter what. And so you boop him, if you just make him take 2 seconds longer to the point, it's just a really good decision to make. He ended up booping him off the map, which is really good, but just making people miss position as they're trying to get on the point really helps your team. I guess a little bit to expand on the point before. Whenever I'm thinking about supports to pick in a composition, a lot of times when I'm thinking is I want a main healer and then a side healer. And so you sometimes will take the roles of that and change them. So like the main healers being Mercy Anna, side healers being Lucio Zen. Sometimes you'll want you'll just take for an example Mercy Anna. You can have one of them take the role of main healer, one of them take the role of side healer. What I mean by that is Mercy, because her pistol isn't as effective as Anna's gun, you want her to be the main healer and be focusing on mainly just healing. And then Anna, you want her to be using her heal to burst heal tanks and like save people. But her like 50% of the time she should be like focusing on like shooting other people, going for sleep darts, going for aggressive healing nades and stuff like that. But also if you have Zen and Lucio, you want to have roles set out, I think, in my mind. So whenever I've went with teams and I've talked with them, you want to have like kind of a role where you'll have one be a main healer, one be a side healer. And I think if you do that with Lucio Zen, it's a little bit more complicated because both of them don't have the same heal output, but you say Zen's the main healer and Lucio is allowed to play more aggressive. It's not the same, but your Zen will be focusing less on shooting people, and if you see anyone that's low, you need to be focusing on healing orbing them immediately, rather than if Zen was the side healer and say Mercy was the main healer in that duo. You might say, Zen, you're the side healer, so if someone is low, you don't need to walk to them to heal orb them. Mercy will focus on that. You can focus on shooting people. So I think like setting those parameters and thinking about them will help you decide what role you need to play, because a lot of times if you're playing Lucio, you should be a side healer, but sometimes your Anna is playing really aggressively and is going for kills and is getting kills, and then you need to have the mindset of, okay, Anna's playing more aggressively, she isn't going to be healing as much, I need to be healing more. But sometimes you play that role where Anna's playing safe and like you need to play more aggressive and go for kills and boops and stuff like that, and so she should be healing more, you should be sitting on speed more, and just have that like healthy medium of like knowing of what role should I be playing this game, because it helps your game really, knowing what roles you should be playing, not just the role of support, but knowing like I need to be playing aggressive as a support this game, I need to be playing safe as a support this game. And I know this is just like a lot of information, but I think it also ties into if you're an offensive or a defensive support. So like Anna, she's more of an offensive support because she doesn't have a defensive ult, whereas Mercy, Zen, and Lucio all have defensive ults that can be used aggressively, but most of the time want to be used defensively. So if you know they're going to be using ults, you want to be playing safe as like one of those defensive supports, and then use your support ults to save your team after they start using ults, or use it like right before they're going to start using ults. So like Zen, if I know they're going to use Barrage or Hog ult or Grav, I'll play safe and I'll wait for my team to get hit by the Grav, and then I'll come out from cover and use my ult to save them from the damage, rather than waiting till we all get grabbed and then panic pressing my ult, which a lot of times you'll get killed while you're in the grav and you won't end